In today's episode, you never know. Paperweight office. How to make a senior manager roll his eyes and cringe at the same moment. The day I prevented a house fire. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. You never know. Initially, I wanted to complain about Teams getting my users confused when I ask for Teamviewer, but I've decided to write a story I've been avoiding for a while, mostly because I've found it hard to convey the proper emotions. This is a story about an office in the middle of nowhere. I've had more consistent contact with this office than anywhere else in the company, having done over 40 tickets for them. There are 2 secretaries, and one has always been better at the job than the other. She's headstrong, remembers how to do a shift+restart, does so before she calls in with technical issues, and has never needed me to repeat an instruction. She is one of the few users whose name I choose to remember rather than being forced through bad experiences. Ring ring. Me, help desk, this is Absinthe. How may I help you? Dorothy, it doesn't work. Me, what doesn't work? Dorothy, the stuff I'm trying to do. Me, may I have your username and PIN? User verified. Me, Dorothy. It's been a hot second, how have you been? Dorothy, the thing isn't working, I need it to work please. Me, okay, just give me a moment and I'll try to see what's going on. Thankfully SCCM works in these offices, and I avoid another fiasco of Teamviewer that drags these stories out to even greater length. What I see is the user attempting to save a PDF from Edge by right-clicking where the prompt would appear in IE. Backstory to that, our website where a lot of forms and contracts are stored is made of chewing gum and dog spit, so, for the last 6 months or so PDFs can only be saved directly from Edge and not in IE and Chrome, at least not without significant workarounds. I click on contract.pdf 13 and hit save as. Dorothy, how did you do that? Me, Dorothy, I hit save. Dorothy, that's not what Sector 2 does. Why is it different? At this point Dorothy's breathing gets a lot heavier, close to hyperventilating as her voice begins to waver. Me, hey, we've got this, let's just take a breath, in. And out. I know you've got this, we hashed this out a few months ago. Click where it says contract.pdf 13. Good, now click save as. Dorothy, I don't know what we're doing, what's going on? Why doesn't this look like SEC2's work? Make it look like SEC2's work. Me. Am I talking to Sector 2? This feels more like a Sector 2 call than a Dorothy call. Note, absolutely F** get up here from a service standpoint, but when I get to know my users I get to know them, and across 40 tickets I have rapport with both Dorothy and Sector 2. Dorothy and I make fun of Sector 2 for not knowing how the ghosts in the machine work their magic. Sector 2 and I make fun of Dorothy for always being rigid with the rules, and having a bit of a stick-up-her at $, and arguing with me when I change their workflow to counteract a glitch. Dorothy starts bawling into the phone. What words I can make out are self-deprecating remarks about how stupid she feels, and how everything is wrong. After a few minutes I tell her that I'll talk to Sector 2 and figure out what's going on. That seems to calm her down somewhat. I ask her to transfer me and the call drops. When I call back into the office it sends me to Sector 2. Sector 2, office in the middle of nowhere, this is Sector 2, how may I direct your call? Me, Sector 2, this is Absinthe with the help desk, is everything okay? Dorothy seems really off. Sector 2, oh, this is her first day back in the office after a while, poor thing had a stroke. Me, she had a stroke and she's coming to work? Sector 2, she's gotta support her therapy costs. Another note, I've had 2 uncles that have suffered strokes, masters in their field reduced to absolute husks. Literally 5 years of therapy before coherent words and thoughts were put together. It's been 15 years since and they can hold conversations now, but it's very clear that these are not the men I once knew. That's my colored bias on strokes, so it's absolutely shocking to me that she's even functional. Me, that's absolutely awful. I'm just going to compartmentalize that. She seems to be having issues with saving documents and wants to do it the way you are. Can you show me? Sector 2 shows me what she's doing, which is a much more complex way of saving the contract PDFs through IE. Though the thing that clicks for me is when the download prompt appears in the bottom middle of her screen and she chooses her save destination. Dorothy has been copying Sector 2 verbatim, and the disconnect was because the file prompts were in the bottom left in her Edge program. Me, thanks for showing me that Sector 2, I get what the problem is now. Can you transfer me back to Dorothy? Call failed. Call back. Sector 2, office in the me dash. Me, Sector 2, what happened? Sector 2, Dorothy, Dorothy. When the light turns green, pick up the phone, okay, honey? Poor thing. Call transferred. Dorothy, office in the middle of nowhere, this is Dorothy. Me, Dorothy, good news, I've figured out what's different, and if it's okay with you, I would really like to get you back on the old way of saving files. Will you allow me to try? Dorothy, hon, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Should I transfer you to Sector 2? Me, Dorothy, it's Absinthe with the help desk. You needed some help making stuff look like SEC2s? Dorothy, oh. Okay, thanks, hon. I attempted to get Dorothy back on track, with my 5-step workaround for Edge rather than the 9-step workaround for Internet Explorer. Thinking that simpler would be easier on her. We went over every step, multiple times. I inflated the mouse to show her exactly what I was doing, but in the end it was just too much. She needed to watch Sector 2 do it, and then follow directly after, so I guess part of her personality stayed intact, in the worst of ways. Me, okay, so, we just have to right-click here, and hit Save As. Nice. Okay, Dorothy, now it's your turn, completely on your own, you've got this. The cursor shakes on her screen, attempting to go through the motions we just did without my prompting, but it stops dead with a sob. Dorothy, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do it? This isn't me. Why am I stupid? Stupid. Me, Dorothy. You're not stupid, you're not, you literally have a brain injury. You're functional, you're human, you're just not all together yet. It's only been 3 months. 3, and you're back to work. That's superhuman in my eyes, Dorothy, awful, but superhuman. Let's just get it set up like Sector 2, I'm sorry for pushing so hard. I haven't heard from Dorothy in a while. I'm hoping that the company didn't just cut her off, but I have my doubts. This is easily one of my most heartbreaking calls, and it shouldn't have happened. Paperweight Office. I planned to give you another, longer story today, but after having this WTF moment today, I cannot wait telling you about. No dialogue, just pure despair and lost hope in humanity. Started a new job this week as a TT service guy and sysadmin for a 50 heads company. I really enjoy this job. And I've got a bigger task yesterday to do on every workstation in all locations. I have 2 locations on my way home. One was already done. The second were only 4 computers. So I decided to leave my main location earlier, visit location B, solve the task and go home. Arriving at location B, my jaw dropped to the floor. Right next to the entry door, the network stuff like switch, router, patchbox etc. flew, yes, it was flying, around the wall on their cables. The first room was occupied and had the Do Not Disturb sign hanging. So I searched for other computers and gotcha. 2 devices in one room on the first floor. So the second PC was booting. Slowly. Grab a coffee and try the next one. A beige box which seemed having a floppy drive, but Windows 10. Well. It had a black screen. I was only able to open Task Manager. This machine was overloaded. Suddenly, BSOD, Beige Grandpa dead. RIP Beige Grandpa, 1990 BC 2022. Meanwhile, the long sleeping PC came up and I was finally. Well. Nice try. Also, here the operating system was not working. Most programs were missing. I made this PC running partially. PC number 4 seemed being already on. It was glowing green but also dead. RIP poor guy, 2009 to 2021, found a note. CPU dead. So, for colleagues in an office and maybe one working PC. When I tried to contact my supervisor, even the flying internet was not working. On every printer a message, please replace toner. And of course, nobody cares. But demands documentations on Fridays. So I might have got a new task for Monday. Bringing location B back to life. Looks like I have to replace every PC there with a working one, rewire the network, get toner for 4 different printers. How to make a senior manager roll his eyes and cringe at the same moment. Backstory: back in 1998 to 1999, I worked for a company that had a contract to do tech support for a dial-up internet provider, which you probably can guess. This contact stated we had to have an average call time of 8 minutes, which is super hard to do because walking people who literally just put their computer together and now wanted on this new thing called the internet. I had a few calls that I struggled to help them with and took 20 to 30 minutes at times to fix. Cast. Me. Senior manager, aka my boss's boss, nice guy, and the first time I ever talked to him. Story: one day a senior manager came over. Hey, do you know you have been on this call for over an hour? My reply: yes, sorry, I had to teach this user how to double-click icons. The manager rolled his eyes and cringed after a minute for him to recover from this knowledge and a look of pity. Are you almost done with the call? I replied, yes, I am wrapping up. I will hopefully be done in the next 2 to 3 minutes. Manager: good, I will see to it this call is removed from your average stats. As I don't think it's fair to count this call against your stats. I replied, thank you for doing that. The manager walks away shaking his head. The day I prevented a house fire. I sometimes cover for my co-workers on on-site school support. It was one such day when an 8th grade girl showed up at the help desk with a problem. My charger isn't working, she said, and handed her student laptop to me. Where is your charger? I asked. Her eyes glasses over as she looked up from her phone. I don't have it. I asked her to locate it and come back. Fast forward several hours later. The student returns with her charger. Where is your laptop? I ask. I gaze into her eyes. There is no one home. I don't have it, she mumbles. I send her away and she miraculously returns a few minutes later with both items. I take the charger, plug it in, and bzzzt. Sparks start flying. I yelped and yanked the flaming contraption out of the outlet. Are you trying to kill me? I joked. The young lady looked at me like she was staring through me, the wall, and out into space. She said nothing. Do you realize that the wire into your AC adapter is completely cut? I asked. Oh, well, it works sometimes, she muttered. Never mind, I thought. I located a spare cord, plugged it into her adapter, and that's when I noticed that it wasn't even from the right manufacturer. Oh, that must be my sister's, remarked the student. Ignoring the fact that her sister, also a student, has the exact same model laptop, I simply nodded my head and sent her on her way. And that, dear reader, is how I prevented a house fire.